Dave, I wanted to ask about Mikko Koskinen. In your evaluations of him when you took the job before the year had started, what you saw and what you're seeing now, and if there's a difference and why?
I watched a bunch of games where he was really good, and then I watched a bunch of games where he was really tired last year, and came in with, said it's going to be a clean slate. Obviously talked to Schwartzy about him a lot, and basically just said it's up to you to show what you can do, and he's come in and played very well. Real calm, he practices hard. He's just dialed in. He's not overthinking the situation. He's just been a real good player.
Have you ever coached a team where a player scored his first NHL goal and then didn't score it?
No.
What was that whole process like for you?
A little disappointing because, I thought it was probably 50-50 going in, right? That when I looked at it, I was disappointed that it wasn't a goal, but had some conversations with the league yesterday. I understand the way they looked at it. But when your guy scores his first goal, you see the reaction of the guys on the ice and the guys on the bench. I mean, there's a lot of, they know who's going to get his first one or not, so everybody's really happy, and then it's kind of wah, you know, so.
The conversation with the league, can you tell us what clarity they brought you? Okay.
Just clarifying what their decision, why their decision was what it was. It's just not.
And in terms of Russell and just maybe sort of the role he's embraced on the team, I mean, certainly not a player, different path to the NHL.
He's a prototypical role player. Goes up and down his wing. He does a lot of things right. You'd like to see him chip in with a few goals or a few points now and then. He's had some, but he's helped our penalty killing unit, and he's one of those players, just a stabilizing player. And if you look at that line was pretty good for us the other night. You know, the third period, they were, you watch what they do. They play the game the right way. They're always on the right side of the puck. Their work ethic is great. So it's, he's one of those guys that I call them glue guys. You know, in your lineup, you just can plug them around either different spots, and they do the job for you. Not really heralded, but they do a good job.
Dave, only 12 of the first 29 games have been played here on home ice, and it seems like with the schedule, you guys have been bouncing around from home and off to longer road trips. Is it kind of nice to kick off a 4-game homestand tomorrow and play in the next 5 of the next 6 here?
It's nice to play at home. It's nice we're finally getting a little bit of practice time. We haven't practiced hardly at all lately, so that part of it is good, but the other part of it, I like the way we play on the road most nights. You know, it's a hard, tenacious game. We need to bring that game home.
What is the difference between the home game and the road game for you guys?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I think sometimes at home you try to get too fancy, and when you can't win on a consistent basis if you're not willing to grind out games and find ways to win games, and usually on the road, that's the mindset. We got to find a way to win tonight, so we got to bring that mindset home.
I always ask the injury question, so the guys who weren't on the ice today, are they all out tomorrow?
Yeah. Nuge skated early this morning on his own. Cassian didn't skate today. He'll skate tomorrow, probably on his own. Who else is there? Benning's probably going to be out a little bit of time here, I think.
Concussion thing again?
He passed that, but they're just monitoring him. They don't want to put him in a bad position. So I think we'll know a little more today, but we just want to make sure on him.
And Bennett and their goalie, Smith, he did practice.
Yeah, Smith will be
back.
I think Skinner will be heading back to Bakersfield today, and Smith will be ready for tomorrow.
Dave, more recent allegations and accusations about the behavior of a coach in the NHL towards his players. How would you describe this time for the game as a whole and where this could all lead?
I don't read any of it, so I'm not going to comment on somebody making allegations all over that. I have no idea. I don't read any of that stuff, so I'll say what I said the other day. And, you know, I just believe in treating people with respect, and not just in hockey, in life, you know. And I know how I wanted to be treated as a player when I was a player, and I wanted to treat people with respect. That's the way I look at it. So I don't read all the stuff out there, the accusations or whatever. It's, I just think the game has evolved like everything else. We've all had coaches that have been hard on us, or anybody that's played has coaches that have been hard on us, and we've had guys that have been too soft on us. So to find that happy medium, it's all about winning, but it's about winning and respect. That's where I'm with it. I'm not going to get involved in who's saying what, because I don't know where that's coming from.
Dave, fourth time this year, you lose 2 in a row, and then you find a way to stop that. I think you and the Islanders are the only 2 teams that haven't been winless in 3. Can you just talk about the willingness of that team, especially the third period, really kind of controlled that game? And you've had really good efforts after 2 losses this year, and that's something that for a long time this group didn't have. Can you pinpoint what's made it change?
I'd rather have really good efforts after we won one, and then we lost one. So I don't know. We have a focus that we know consistency is a big part of, if we're going to be a playoff team, you're going to have to be a consistent team. And sometimes you're not going to win, but you got to give yourself a chance to win. And I think you've seen some of the only games that I've been, not upset is the wrong word, but disappointed with our result is when we beat ourselves or we don't play smart enough. But I like the way the group, like they talk about it when we lose a game, they talk about we got to get right back at it. And that's all coming from in the room. That's not coming from a coaching staff. That's coming from the guys that want to be a playoff team. So I give the players full credit there. That's in the conversation. When we lose, they want to grab it back in a hurry. And as a coaching staff, we're happy to hear that.
Were you happy enough with the 2 centers with Leon and Connor split up last game in terms of?
I thought they both played well, even though they got their points on the power play together. But with Nuge out, just gives us a little more balance.
So when Nuge is out, do you realize, okay, the fans and yourself, how important he is when suddenly, okay, now Leon's back at center and it's a nice alternative, but Leon has done his better work with Connor?
Say that again. You got all over the place there.
As a coach, Nuge doesn't get a lot of credit compared to the other 2 guys, but when he's out, then you're putting Leon at center when he's more productive, I would say, with Connor, on the line with Connor.
Well, that's the reality is everybody who's ever played with Connor is more productive. So let's start there, right? So Leon is in that club too, but there's a lot of other players there. So, but Leon is one of those guys that can drag other people along also. That's what great players do. Nuge is an important player, without a question. He's an important player. But when he's out, you got to try to find a little more balance, and that's where we're at. You got 2 guys that have the capability of being top centermen. And when Nuge is there, it gives you another option, but you're depending on games and matchups and stuff. We just felt like it was the way to go. And without Nuge in the lineup, if you look at our lines, they fit together better with those 2 guys on opposite lines. When Nuge comes back, we'll see. Maybe we'll have 3 then. You don't like that, Jimmy? All right. I'll consult with you after that one, Jimmy, all right?